The manga starts with the MC sharing his valuable advice with us, the readers, who are still living their first lives. Right off the bat, he tells us to become villains if we want to become winners in life, just like the MC who's going to do the same in his second life. In order to walk the path of evil, he gives himself these 3 clauses to follow. Live without compromising your beliefs, polish your charm, and do not slack off, and do not let anyone decide your future. Which sounds like a great advice if you ask me. But anyway, let's rewind for a bit to know what it is that led him to this second life. Yeah, never mind, it's the Truck-kun. Our boy died protecting his girlfriend who was cheating on him. What an absolute simp! Before we can say that though, our boy realizes it himself and regrets living a life of a simp. Waking up one day in a strange world of sword and magic, he remembers the memories of his previous life and realizes that he's been reborn as Augur Veret, the eldest son of the villainous Veret ducal family. He comes to the conclusion that being a good boy ain't shit and decides to live this second life according to his desires as a villain. And, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore this for now. Augur, responding to his father's summons, goes to see him. His father compliments him for being a responsible successor of his family. Augur gives us a bit of an introduction to his father. His father is none other than the great chef Gordon Ramsay. Just kidding. His father, Gordon Veret, is a shady and cunning feudal lord who acts like a fool on purpose to overthrow his political opponent and gain more power. Augur admires his villainous behavior and wants to become just like him. Gordon tells his son that he has high hopes for him and that to become his successor, he has to enroll in the Magic Academy. And while giving him a sharp look, Gordon asks him what he's going to do about his magic. Augur grins and assures him that he won't show this one-of-a-kind technique of his to the public. Wink. Satisfied by his technique, answer, Gordon laughs and tells him that he has to get himself an attendant who's going to serve him in the dorms. While feigning some ignorance in front of his father, Augur was secretly waiting for this opportunity to obtain skilled subordinates who would help further his goal of becoming a perfect villain. However, to stay true to the path of evil and make this manga more interesting, he's going to intentionally find someone with a strong sense of justice and make them do evil things. And he already has someone on his mind for that role, so he sets out to pick her up. And of course it's going to be a girl. The scene shifts to the underground arena on the outskirts of the royal capital, where we see a white girl with a sharp gaze, surrounded by 2 men with their swords ready, wink. But she tells them, "Not today, you pigs," and quickly puts them both to eternal sleep. After that, some NPC calls the white girl, Chris, and tells her that a guest is waiting for her. Augur instructs the NPC to leave them alone. And, to clear up any misunderstandings, he tells Chris that he's not here to buy a woman. He's simply here to talk to the former commander of the Holy Knights, Chris Ragnica. Taken aback by this, Chris proceeds to ask him how he knows about her, but stops mid-sentence and stares him down after realizing he's a noble from the Veret's family, who is in charge of intelligence gathering. Augur tells her that he can understand her hatred for nobles. After all, the ones who framed Chris and kicked her out from the Holy Knights were nobles like him. Time for a flashback. Chris, driven by her sense of justice, was tracking down a major source of human trafficking, and she found out that some nobles were behind that. She immediately reports this to the king, but the nobles enter and accuse her of falsifying the report. She tried to plead her case, but the nobles had already covered up the evidence she had collected. Thus, she was made to be a criminal and kicked out of her position as Holy Knight. Chris lashes out at Augur that it's because of rotten nobles like him that she had to wield her sword honed for justice in a coliseum filled with evil. Augur gives her a sharp, disappointed look and asks her where is her pride as a Holy Knight. Then he stares in her eyes and rizz her up by saying that he liked her when she was the Holy Knight. He keeps on rizzing her up, but she tells him that the Holy Knight Chris Ragnica is no more. After being exiled, she had to make a living using the same methods as the other scums. Then, our boy Augur delivers a final rizzing blow, telling her to just start anew and join him. He vows to her that he will make a place where she can wield her power of friendship and justice again. Chris, while crying tears of joy, kneels in front of him and accepts his offer. And that is exactly what he wanted. That's right. He was just acting to make her his lifelong slave. Continuing his saintly act in front of Chris, he tells her to come to his house with him, where he'll introduce her to his father. However, because she is regarded as a criminal, Augur gives her a new name, Alice. The now rizzed-up maiden is touched beyond belief by receiving a precious name from her lord and master. Before leaving, though, Alice remembers something and asks Augur if she can visit the arena for the last time. He reckons she's going to retrieve her weapons, and an evil grin appears on his face when he thinks that the sword that she believes to be wielding for justice will now be used to further his villainous goals. His sweet thoughts get interrupted, though, when he enters the arena and sees the overjoyed Alice standing atop a pile of bodies of villains that she had cut down to demonstrate her justice. She proudly declares that she will serve Augur for eternity. Royal Magic Academy, Lichberg. This is the place where Augur will now live with his maid waifu. Alice compliments Augur and assures him that she will fulfill her duties as his attendant to the best of her abilities. Hearing Augur's name, the other NPC students start whispering something about him, which delights Alice, but she finds out that those whispers are not of praise but of slander. Just as this powerful maid waifu is about to commit some horrible war crimes, our boy stops her. Augur already expected other students to talk badly about him because his Veret family is known for their villainous acts. But still, he finds this situation troublesome because our boy's goal in coming to this academy is, of course, to create a harem of beautiful girls with yellow $sign. Someone dressed in a boy's uniform calls out to him. While Alice is unsure whether it's a man or a woman, Augur looks at the hair clip she's wearing and recognizes her. Just like Augur, she's the only daughter of one of the 4 great ducal families, Karen Levetsenka. She's also his ex-fiancée. Augur greets her, and she's surprised that he still remembers her. Looking at the panicking Alice in the background, Augur introduces Karen to her as his ex-fiancée. He explains that their engagement was called off because of a problem on his part. While Karen tries to protest, Augur continues and tells her that magic is the most important thing in this world, and despite being a noble, he apparently can't use magic because he doesn't have any aptitude for it. That's the reason why the Levetsenka family hates him, but Karen vehemently denies it, and she was about to say something with a flushed face, but stops and tells them to hurry to the entrance ceremony. Augur is slightly curious about why she is cross-dressing but pays it no mind. At the entrance ceremony, too, gossip about Augur keeps on coming from all directions, that even he finds it strange. Augur once again stops the maid waifu from causing a slaughter fest, but Alice tells him that it is frustrating and that they just don't know how wonderful a person Augur is. He agrees with her and tells her that that is exactly why he's letting them run their mouth and that they will soon look at him with envy. He now embarks on a journey to find members for his harem, and he has already decided his target beforehand. While roaming around, he notices some people spewing slander, not at him this time, but at this girl. And Jesus, look at those jugs! Sorry guys, got a little carried away there. Anyways, he sees some nobles bullying a commoner girl, and before Alice can do something, Augur springs into action to impress this girl. One of the guys tries to flaunt his social status in front of Augur, but he shows him his place, and they flee like a bunch of low-life thugs. Alice is impressed that he's skilled in martial arts. Augur extends his hand towards her. Augur explains to us that there are 2 big reasons he wants her in his harem. The girl thanks our boy and introduces herself as a first-year student, Mashiro Lishe. He brings out his inner gentleman and offers Lishe his handkerchief to wipe off the dirt. Okay guys, let's be honest here. We can already tell where this is going. See? Look at his victorious evil grin. Just one look at her expressions, and he can already tell that her affection for him is going through the roof. He confirms those NPC's words that Lishe is indeed the only commoner in the academy. That's why he plans to be the only one among the nobles to be kind to her, so that she can easily fall into his hands. While Alice is on the ground crying tears of awe at his noble person, Augur and Alice arrive at the new student's welcome party. He remarks that this place is quite grand. Alice notices that there's a bunch of girls flocking to a man. Augur tells her that the guy is the crown prince and Karen's current fiancé, Arnia Rondism. She's mad that despite being engaged, he's enjoying girls' company. She carelessly directs her bloodlust at him. He notices it and confronts her. However, Augur steps in and apologizes for her actions. The crown prince recognizes him as the unqualified student with no magic aptitude. Augur tells Alice, who is about to snap at any moment, to stand down and formally introduces himself again. Just then, Karen walks in and proceeds to ask the crown prince what was going on, but the prince just shot a blank glare at her, which made her flinch and take back her words. Alice then understands why Karen was acting so reserved previously towards Augur. The prince decides to leave before telling Augur that he can't wait to see what embarrassing show he will put up. The prince orders Karen to come with him, and she follows after him teary-eyed. Augur realizes that it must be frustrating for Karen to just nod along to what the prince says because of their social status. He gives some words of consolation to Karen and tells her that he knows what she's feeling right now. Alice, after seeing this, reaffirms her belief that Augur really is an amazing person and that it doesn't matter to her whether he has magic aptitude or not. He thanks her, and soon that evil grin shows up on his face again, saying that everyone has a big misunderstanding about him. Alice saw his evil face for a split second and is now having some kind of crisis in the background. Our MC also gets a crisis in a different sense when someone hands him a supposed love letter from Lishay. Oh, and Alice is still trying to process what she saw in the background. That's the end of this recap, guys. If you've watched this far, please like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. I've covered both the translated chapters that were out at the time of making this video. I'll make a part 2 when more chapters come out. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.